Good morning, everyone. This is Brandon Insecpong here for day 2 at Major League Pickleball in Atlanta, brought to you by Margaritaville. I'm joined in the booth here by none other than fan favorite Adam Stone. Great to have you here today.
Yeah, happy to be here, and we had some incredible challenger level play yesterday and premiere today, first round matchup here, and it's just very exciting stuff. The buzz is palpable and real out there, and I'm not even playing, and I'm very excited as well.
Lots of storylines today. We have the Arizona Drive taking on the Columbus Sliders, formerly known as Columbus Pickleball Club. And Adam, we've got some exciting things. We have players that seemingly were not going to play in MLP at one point. Now they are actually here. How does that affect the team chemistry at the moment? We've got new players, first time playing in Premier in this matchup. Talk to us about what you see here.
Yeah, so this really is a very intriguing matchup with a mix of very veteran players and some new faces as well. So we have for the Columbus Sliders two of the most absolute known commodities in the sport, J.W. Johnson and Colin Johns. And if there is going to be a prototype of his brother Ben Johns, it is J.W. Johnson, so they should be very comfortable together. So for me, for the Columbus Sliders, it's Maggie Brascia and Megan Dizon, who Maggie played well for BLQK in Season 1. Megan Dizon played well for the Pioneers in Season 1. Which one of these ladies, or possibly both, is going to step up for the Sliders? And the pick to click for the Drive, for me, is Vivian Glausman. She is paired with 3 veterans of the game, Deckel Bar, Julian Arnold, and Viv David, who are all very comfortable with each other. Can Vivian Glausman step up? And she is even admitted she is very comfortable on the left in women's, but struggles a bit on the right in mixed. Can she figure it out, Brandon?
Definitely a key to this matchup. And Adam, you talked about it while we saw them warming up. Vivian Glausman, tall, strong, hitting the ball incredibly hard. You think that's going to fit well with this Arizona Drive team?
Oh, absolutely. We have... Yes, I'm going to go with all 4 ladies hit the ball harder than me, Brandon. So, yes, we have a lot of firepower. And, yeah, she's a physical presence out there, standing right around 6 feet tall. And when she hits it, she really hits it. So I'm expecting a lot of pop, a lot of power from the ladies, and this is going to be a good one.
She will certainly be getting a lot of advice from her team with none other than Vivian David, another known commodity here in the sport, top 5 female in the game. So it'll be interesting to see the experience of Megan Dizon, Maggie Brascia against Vivian David and Vivian Glausman. We will start with a women's doubles matchup here for this match. Arizona Drive taking on the Columbus Sliders. I'm excited about this one.
Oh, yeah. It's the Vivs.
It's premiere time, baby.
Let's go, ladies. That's the kind of first point I want to see with an extended firefight, and then we're dinking again in a great speed up from Maggie Brascia.
We're going to be here for a while. Yeah, we talked about that power from Glausman. Just went for a little too much on that last forehand volley. Ended up missing a little. Oh, what a great shot there. Kind of the half Ernie by Dizon.
Yes, and I mean, talk about firing on all cylinders early. We're not getting in any structured points or anything like that. The ladies are going. Nice spot from Glausman up the middle, catching Dizon over, leaning to her right side.
Oh, what a great spot there from Glausman. We talk about the power, but here you can see the placement on the two-hand backhand off the speed up.
Yeah, right at the belly button. Sometimes attacking the body is the right play in pickleball.
Brascia with the volley. She does a great job with kind of that in and out half volley.
Yeah, very much so. I think Vivian David thinks she was going to pull that cross court for the angle. She puts it right up the middle. Very nice spot.
Just great defense to offense there from the Columbus Sliders. Dazan and Brasha backed up at the baseline, make their way up.
Yeah, so tough to put the ball away on them. And Maggie Brasha taking that second handoff and rolling the one-hander as well, showing it all early.
Dazan wanted the poach there in the middle. Glasman kind of tied her up.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say every now and then you feel when your opponent is late getting in that their partner is going to cover for them, and I think that's what Vivian Glasman was going for up the line on that drive.
Dazan off with the reset. Great job of change of pace there from David.
I mean, that is a grown GMD, Jeff Warnick, grown man dink right there. They are not created equal, and she is creating for her team and putting the ball away. Maggie Brasha.
Glasman showing off the one hand there.
That's right.
Volley, nice.
And some slight miss pace, medium pace, and that threw off Dazan, and she sailed that counter long.
Brasha off with the volley there. Just a good drive there from Glasman. Sailed probably a little higher than Brasha thought.
Right, kind of up into the armpit ribcage area. Very nice from her.
That'll be one part that Glasman will have to manage. When you have that power there from the baseline, it's hard to not use it, right? Got to manage which shots make sense.
Oh, that's great first volley. Yeah, you're exactly right, Brandon. It's you almost always want to meet in the middle somewhere. And if you have that power, you got to mix in some drops as well. You can't just go all out.
Glasman off on the two-hand volley. She's shown an arsenal of shots here. Two-hand off the bounce, the volley, the one-hand. Just a little off there on that one.
Yeah, there's been some really nice variety from all four ladies so far.
Dazan can't come up with the reset there. It's just good power.
Yeah, and it's such an important part of women's doubles is putting the ball away because the defense is so good.
Another missed drive there from Glasman as David comes over and just kind of has a quick chat with her.
Yeah, and you know, that's really the first ball. You can really drive at a pretty high clip and look for that fifth shot drop. So we'll just have to monitor that from Glasman if she sticks with that drive, which she obviously likes, or mixes in some more initial third shot drops.
Oh, David goes for the backhand overhead. Thankfully, that ball went a little bit long as she smiles to her team. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's a really, really good spot as Glasman does have that responsibility in the middle with the forehand. So to put that behind her to the left foot is a really nice shot from Maggie.
Yeah, and it seems like Brasha is really putting pressure on those misdirect dinks in the area, the vicinity of Vivian Glasman, trying to find an avenue there. Does that seem like the Columbus Slider strategy at this moment to kind of target Glasman at the kitchen line?
I think so. I think that definitely, and you know, you don't want to go too far out of high percentage play, but absolutely probably a 2-to-1 clip at least are going over to that side. And Maggie Brasha, I mean, she's really shown it all. Not a lot of mistakes and some good power and putaways and creating, especially on that forehand side. So I would have probably not guessed coming into this that she would be the one initiating and really taking it to her opponents, but good for her.
And on the other side with Vivian David and Vivian Glassman, what do you make of David, the veteran, right? She's got some medals, the experience there. It seems as if she's deferring some on the offensive side to Glassman.
Right, and it is tough to get fully engaged offensively from the right side. So we'll see how much court Vivian takes. Maybe she squeezes over a little bit and takes some pressure off of Glassman.
Nothing needed there as Glassman with a big overhead. Brasha can't come up with the reset. And I think that's a ball Glassman will want to see as many times as possible, right?
Yeah.
A high two-hand backhand.
Yeah, all the leverage, all the whip through. Great technique as well.
Just great firefight and pressure there from David and Glassman as they're ramping up the energy now coming out of this changeover.
That's which team's going to make it in, Brandon. There has been a lot of 2 up, 2 in the midcourt throughout the first half of this match. Got to get to the kitchen line.
The nice slide there from Glassman just faded to her left a little bit to hit that forehand volley.
Yeah, and often, you know, especially with that big two-hander, it's the opposite way, so she can do both.
Oh, Glassman off on the forehand down the line after the incredible poach from right to left from David.
Yeah, I think she's got to drop that one, you know. First drive, amazing. Can't keep going.
DAZN and Brasha still working their way in here.
Well, maybe that's why she drives that initial third shot, Brandon, as that was definitely a head-high attempt.
To your point about variety and mixing it up, maybe haven't dropped in a while, right? The touch, not there.
Yep.
And Glassman just off a little too much on that one-handed volley.
Yeah, took that second hand off for extra reach. Just couldn't keep it in.
Just incredible defense from David and Glassman. I mean, the ball caught the net. They still stayed focused there and end up drawing the error.
Yeah, and I know we got a great men's match coming up, but I love watching the ladies. These extended firefights are so entertaining.
On some confusion there on that ball, but just great pressure from Brasha and DAZN.
And that's what we were talking about, though, is Vivian possibly squeezing the middle a little bit more in the second half of this match.
Oh, after some great resets from DAZN. Looked like a little confusion from her and Brasha on when to get to the kitchen line there. Vivian David takes advantage, sees an opportunity in the middle. And another drive long from Glassman there.
And another thing, not just aggressive at the kitchen line, harder for her, Vivian, to step over with the backhand to take thirds as well.
And that one error turned to 2 there from Glassman as the volley a little long.
Yeah, we're going to take a timeout. I think it's a good call. Shooting some eyes over at the bench, and I think that they have come up with the decision to halt play for a minute or two, and it's a good one.
Yeah, we've got a 2-point lead here for Brasha and Dazan. They've played seemingly, by their standards, kind of a normal game here. Haven't been too on point, right? Haven't missed a ton of shots, but they're up 2. For a team like the Columbus Sliders looking to close this out, what's top priority coming out of this timeout?
Well, I would say top priority right now is to get your returns to Vivian Glossman. Not that she can't figure it out in the latter stages of this match, but she has had some loose plays in that regard, and you can kind of see some of her reactions afterwards that she is feeling a little frustration with that, a little not quite sure what to do. So when you see that as an opponent, I mean, this is Major League Pickleball by Margaritaville. You stick on that, and you make sure you put the ball on her and force her to beat you in this moment.
One of the best partners in the game, Vivian David, will try to lift her spirits, but we'll see who the Sliders target here.
Yeah, you play with fire, though. You know, that's the thing. It's do you go with the more solid player who's slightly less threatening, or do you go with the volatile player who can light you up at any moment? It's such a tough decision, Brandon. Nice.
And Glossman out of the timeout with 2 straight great plays, as you see here. She dinks her way to an opportunity. Vivian David redirects, and then she puts it away.
That's a miss. Late sliding to her left, but still targeting Glossman in the back in the court. And let's be clear, Glossman's soft stuff at the kitchen has been fine. It's more the issue getting forward.
Glossman had 3 straight returns that were neutral. That one a little bit long. Brasha able to take advantage. Wow, that ball. I think everyone held their breath thinking that ball possibly was going to come over. It's just awesome pressure there from David Glossman. And they fend off a game point, the Sliders. I mean, that ball just barely sailed wide.
Yes, and she had a little hint of side spin on it.
The put away there from Dazan as she targets Glossman there for a couple of balls, gets the one she likes and puts it away.
Yeah, very nice job as Glossman was pulled out wide, breaking back to the middle. Dazan put it on her back hip beautifully.
And Glossman with the error there as the Columbus Sliders take game 1 in this matchup, 22-20. It's a great play all around from both teams, really.
Yeah, exactly right. And really, once we got up to the kitchen, it was really good stuff. That was the main issue for the drive, and really high level match to start it off. And we got the fellas coming up, and we got a little bit of firepower on court with the and it looks like we are going to have Julian Andiamo-Arnold on the left and Deckel Barr on the right to start this match. Deckel does have the flexibility to play both. He's actually played quite a few tournaments with J.W. Johnson where he was playing the right.
Yeah, this will be an interesting matchup. You mentioned we've got Julian Arnold and Deckel Barr from the Arizona Drive taking on 2 very known commodities, as you mentioned earlier, in Colin Johns and J.W. Johnson. I want to focus on this Colin Johns and J.W. Johnson pairing for a moment. The interesting dynamic of Colin Johns and Ben Johns playing tournaments together, winning tournaments, a lot of times against J.W. Johnson and his partner, Dylan Frazier. How do you think that dynamic factors into maybe secret sharing, maybe favorite spots to hit. Is that a thing, or are they looking past it?
Colin's sneaky. He doesn't like to share information. He's got his little algorithms and his little game plans for all the players. So, you know, the going gets tough out there. Maybe he gives away a secret or two, but I don't think he's very willing to just give out all this information to JW, because that has been the finals of the PPA Tour several times in the last few months. But I tell you what, there's nobody that's Ben Johns. Ben Johns #1. But if you got one guy that plays to a similar level and a similar style, it's JW Johnson. I expect this new partnership to be relatively seamless and be very comfortable for both players.
Will be interesting for sure. Two highly decorated players. Now let's go back to the Arizona Drive. You mentioned Julian Arnold playing left in this matchup, Dekelbar playing right. Give us some insights into how that decision possibly came about.
Yeah, and I think really what it is it's more Dekel is more comfortable on the right than Julian. They are both comfortable on the left, very much so, but Dekel has played way more right side pickleball in his career with myself early in his career, and then as I mentioned with JW Johnson as well about around a year ago or so. So I would expect them to be very standard in the left side, right side, where it's not going to be, even though Dekel is a big, strong guy, it's not going to be a 50-50 situation. He is going to defer to Julian and let Julian take 60-65% of the court. And it is nice for them that they do have the option, if the situation gets dire, to possibly make a switch.
We are just seconds away from this matchup. We have Columbus Sliders that are up 1-0 right now on the Arizona Drive. This will be first to 4. If both teams are knotted at 2 apiece, we will go to a Dream Breaker, and the Dream Breaker is brought to you and powered by Toyota Prius. This is going to be, again, it's an exciting matchup all around. We would be fortunate to see Dream Breaker in this type of scenario with these players. I think we've got at least 5 or 6 top-rated singles players on the court.
And right now, Colin, great doubles success. He's playing with his brother. He stopped playing singles. The man is very good at singles, okay? And there's quite a few players like that sprinkled throughout the tournament who don't actually play singles consistently, but at 4 points at a time are world-class singles players. And there really is just some cool dynamics going on, too. I mean, we have Dekelbar and Colin Johns traveling the world to play tennis together many years ago. Doubles partners in tennis, doubles partners in pickleball very early in their careers. Very good friends with the family, Dekel and the Johns. So there is a lot of mixing and matching going on in storylines aplenty.
Yeah, and Dekelbar, JW Johnson have a few titles themselves on the APP Tour as well. So you're right about all these players knowing each other. Let's get going.
And the emphatic Colin no, let it go out. He has a very distinct voice when he lets his partner know to let it go.
Oh, and Julian Arnold tries to sneak one by Colin. Colin calls it out pretty quickly.
Oh, he had Colin fooled big time. Just couldn't keep it in.
Looked to be possibly an inch or two out. Arnold wants to take a look at this.
Yeah, it looked wide to me. Definitely saw a little space. I guess we have a gray outside of the court, so I saw a sliver of gray right there. Yeah. I mean, when it was traveling, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, as we see it touch, I think that is relatively clear cut.
Yeah, you can. I mean, by how close that is, I could say it's understandable for Arnold to want to take another look at it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's an inch or so, maybe.
Most of these are just so close. I don't envy these referees having to decide. But I would. We saw a lot of 2 up, 2 back in the women's match. We saw some quick firefights and some short points. I don't expect to see that at all here. We're going to see all 4 fellows at the kitchen at a very high percentage of the time. And this match might go twice as long as the ladies, as these points are going to be very structured and controlled because the counterattack ability from these 4 players is so electric. If you pull a bad trigger, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we talk about the strengths of these players, let's focus on the sliders. You've got Colin Johns, who notoriously plays on the right side. His brother, Bryn Johns, mentioned he is the #1 right side player in the game. And then on the other side, you've got J.W. Johnson playing his natural position on the left. Do you think that gives him an advantage in this matchup?
Like I said earlier, seamless. It's just seamless. I mean, there couldn't be an easier transition. There really couldn't be. So I understand it's not, you know, we don't have Johns on the back of both of those shirts. But this is as close as it gets. I expect them to play amazing pickleball.
I mean, we've got John's son, so you know, it's close.
Hey, all right.
Johnson off on that shot there. Just good pressure by Arnold.
Right, when I say that, they don't make it to the kitchen, right?
The deep return from Johnson. And Barr looked like he picked up the pace on his serve there.
Yeah, one of the bigger serves of the game. Looks illegal. It is not.
And the hand speed of Johnson to reload that off of that tape ball.
He doesn't swing. How does he hit it that hard? He doesn't even swing. I don't get it. It's so good.
And still trying to dial in the third shots here for J.W. Johnson.
Yeah, and Julian chirping a little bit, just letting J-Dub know he liked that miss. Ooh, let's go.
We've got some early fireworks here. I'm not sure anyone is surprised, though, with Julian Arnold's on the court.
I saw the jugular vein. It popped out. That's what I look for with Julian. The jugular count. If we get high, it's bad news for the sliders.
Yeah, great backhand volley there from Johnson as that ball just stays in, out of the reach of Barr.
I mean, there's just no difference, forehand or backhand. There's no weakness, no place to go against Mr. Johnson. And so Julian wooed, and then we have someone in the crowd over here wooing at him as he misses that soft dink. I like the energy out here, Brandon.
Johnson off on the reset. Just good pressure there from Arnold and Barr. Oh, the drive by Barr just wide.
That was going to be big trouble for Colin Johns if that went over, but it did not.
Johnson with the flick, catches the tape. Looked like a pretty good spot, but catches the tape and Barr not able to get it.
No, I agree. I'm fine with it either way. I don't think Deckel was ready for this. As you see, he was sitting backhand, and JW was putting that to his right shoulder.
Oh, the Ernie from Arnold, but a foot fault called by the referee as we see here. Let's take a look.
I think they said right foot. Yeah, on the landing right there. It's a great move and a nice shot in the air. Just couldn't land clean.
And Arnold puts the pressure on, but that ball just drops in. Wow. What a get from Colin Johns as he looks to the crowd. Are you not entertained?
Yes. What a look on his face. That was priceless.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's very unusual. That slice backhand of J.W. Johnson's one of the better ones in the game, and he is really struggling to keep that ball down in this moment.
Johnson leaves one a little high as Arnold comes flying in.
Fire up. He likes that one, too.
The great backhand right there leads directly into an Andiamo. And Arnold took a chance there. Johnson smiling as if he was waiting for that moment.
He was waiting for that moment, right? No, as if about it. Again, he can't make it bounce. That's the issue. Everything's out of the air on the 4th, 6th, and 8th shots for the drive right now.
Oh, and Barr tries to go full right to left and finish with the two-hand backhand, just long.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think it's a nice move from the big man, and he was certainly a little overextended on that last two-hander, but I think the offensive court positioning and shot selection is okay in my book.
So we've got the Columbus Sliders that are now up by 1 here going to the changeover, 11-10. In a situation like this where both teams going back and forth, 1 point here, 1 point on the other side, looking to string together some momentum, is there possibly a key to stringing together 2 to 3 points at the same time?
Well, I think the keys are different for every match, but really, that as I mentioned before, that is the difference for me right now why this isn't a little more lopsided, is that J.W. Johnson third shot. So we'll see if the drive continue to target there, and we'll see if J.W. can get that thing ironed out as well.
It's a good misdirect from Arnold to set that play in motion and then finished off by Barr.
And that one was more deceptive. The previous one about 2 points ago when J.W. Johnson smacked it, he was ready for it. His paddle was already in position, almost baiting Julian to attack. That time, Julian caught him off guard and was rewarded with the point.
Wow, the great speed up there from Dekel Barr. We don't see that too often on the right side. What a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And he pushed that previous ball to the backhand side of J.W. Johnson. He goes at the right shoulder this time. Nice variety from Dekel Barr, picking his spots.
And Colin Johns all over the speed up, but a little long on that scorpion attempt.
Yeah. I mean, he had 2 scorpions in that point. That was the last one's a little more of a traditional for him, but he could not have hit it any harder. Yeah, that was a slight miscommunication there as we had Deckel stepping to his left to look for the forehand, and Julian was already there, unfortunately.
And Arnold again goes for that Ernie there off of the cross-court dink, not able to come up with it.
Yeah, and it's tough because it's just so spectacular when it works, but it's a very risky move, and when it doesn't work out, it really doesn't work out.
Just too much pressure from Barr on those overheads. Johnson can't come up with the last reset.
Yeah, Deckel Barr, I could hear him say, "Where are you going?" And I get him sliding to his right, but I think that in that specific situation just leaves too much court for his opponents. Yeah, again, there you go. Can't bounce the third, can't get in. Right after, of course, right after I said this was going to be the most structured match of the day, all four players at the kitchen. We really haven't seen too much of that in the latter stages of this match.
Yeah, good put away there from Johns. And as J.W. Johnson is off on his third shot percentage now, and the game's tied up, they've got to be feeling pretty good here, huh, Adam?
Exactly. Yeah, and he goes with the forehand drop attempt this time and a similar result.
We'll see if Arizona Drive can take advantage of that here, up by 1. And the big serve by Barr, handled by Colin Johns, but that entire point just worked beautifully by Arnold.
Yeah, well played from the drive, just maximum pressure, just really controlling the kitchen line nicely.
And the shot from Arnold there, beautifully down the middle. It looked like both players were happy to switch sides for a moment, and they just wanted to make something happen.
And he really held it nicely, froze J.W. Johnson, thinking he was going to go up the line, slides it to the middle. Beautiful shot from Julian Arnold.
As that return sails long. And from a tie game, this is now a 4-point lead here for the Arizona Drive. And the good 1-2 started from Arnold, cross court into the body of Johnson, and then Barr finish off.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. J.W. Johnson, I haven't said this much in my commentary career. He looks a little flustered right now, Brandon.
And the bench realizing that, as well, as the Columbus Sliders take a timeout here with the AZ Drive on the brink of winning this game here, up 5 points, 20-15.
Yeah, and I think between the entire women's match in the first, 3 quarters of this men's match, we never had a run more than 2 or 3 points. So this is just really good stuff the last couple minutes from the drive. And it's not, just controlled, simple, work the point. They are just letting it loose with offense, and they are just taking it to them right now. And if they stay hot for just another point or two, this match is going to be over.
Energy and momentum being so important in a format like this here at Major League Pickleball. Can J.W. Johnson, Colin Johns find that energy here? Barr goes for the big serve.
with the benefits they've had from it, he can miss 2 or 3, and I would be okay with it.
And Johns with the uncharacteristic missed dink there. Another big drive from Barr. This one not over.
Yeah, and you can see at the kitchen line, Brandon, lots of middle dinks, more of the safe zone for both teams. When you spread these players out wide, it gives them a lot of angles to create offense.
Johns goes for the flip.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I'm not sure we've seen it maybe once or twice throughout this whole match from him. Yeah, just a few tight points from everyone. Sprinkled in errors, a couple mishits in there, and this is pickleball. This is MLP. It's tight.
And Arnold with the misdirection there. We're going back and forth here.
Yeah, I mean, how does he get him on that? It's such a good shot from Julian to catch him unprepared, because he is just almost always ready. And that was, oh, sorry, I was looking at the replay. Did that clip the tape and go out on the serve?
That went out, so Barr with another missed serve here down the stretch. Goes for the winner down the line, but just sails long as Johnson lets it go.
Yeah, this is a wild couple minutes, Brandon, for them to squeeze back into this match.
And Arnold with the fadeaway speed up after a long, patient rally catches Johnson off guard, and he's just a little long on that.
Every time I try that, it doesn't work. How does it work for Julian? Unreal after such a consistent point to pull that trigger.
And Arnold goes for the down the line two-hand backhand off the bounce. He claims this ball is in. Let's take a look. I think after talking with his bench, agrees that that ball was long. We play on. Tie game. Big put away from Arnold.
Yeah, nice combination with that mid-paced middle shot from Barr and then the cleanup from his left side partner.
And AZ drive with a chance to close it, thwarted by JW Johnson. The hands to get out of that.
Hands of gold.
Johnson just off on the reset.
Yeah, and showing you don't see a lot from him, showing some real frustration on that last, backhand drop attempt. He's got his buddy Gabe Tardio over there in his corner, cheering him on.
And Johnson off on the return. So 2 straight errors to finish this off as AZ Drive win 24-22. And we're going to get ready for some mixed doubles matchup with this being tied up now. We'll let these players warm up and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back with another game in this matchup. We will have mixed doubles. We're now tied up 1 game apiece, Columbus Sliders and Arizona Drive. I'm back. This is Brandon and Sekpong here with Adam Stone. Looks like we'll have for the Arizona Drive, Dekel Barr and Vivian Glossman taking on J.W. Johnson and Maggie Brasha.
Yeah, it looks like that will be mixed doubles matchup number 1. And, of course, we're tied up at 1 after gender doubles. slightly interesting end to that men's match. Wasn't quite sure who wanted it, and eventually the Arizona Drive decided they did, so they ended up taking that match, and we went to extra innings. Can't remember the score. I believe it was 23-21. So this should be a very, very good one. We kind of have tall versus small here. We got we got the Arizona Drive, just incredible physical presence from both players, and then JW and Maggie over for the sliders.
Glossman off on that volley after the early firefight to start this game.
Yeah, Maggie just checking to see how much court Deckel was going to take, trying to go behind him on that first ball. I like it. Yeah, and I would say that she probably, even though Deckel's transitioning, I would probably let him take that, coming in with the forehand.
Yeah, and it looks like for the Arizona Drive, Barr and Glossman are trying to figure out that court positioning. You see Deckel coming all the way over. You see Glossman sliding left a little bit.
Yeah, wild Ernie in the beginning of that point, and we ended up getting it reset. Very nice. She just chuckled. I was like, well, Maggie's got a nice chance to reset here and get to the kitchen, and she went for it.
And Glossman goes for the speed up on J.W. Johnson, a spot to be careful on.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Brandon, that's just not wanting to grind out that dink. That is not a recipe for success, I promise.
Another Ernie attempt handled by J.W. Johnson, but not able to make their way to the kitchen after the misdirect from Barr.
Yeah, really interesting to see JW late getting to those backhands on his left side. One of the better players at the game and handling that shot, just needs to get it figured out in this match.
That volley stays in.
Yeah, so we have, okay, let's see what's happening.
So it looks like the bench for Arizona Drive is thinking about challenging that call.
I think they might have taken too much time because Morgan Evans, the GM coach of the Arizona Drive, wanted his team to challenge. Let's just let it go here. So I believe what is happening is the referee is saying that someone called it in for the drive, therefore they cannot challenge it because the in call was made. I believe that's what I overheard. There you go. So we have confirmation that is exactly what happened.
Back to play as Johnson is off on the drive. Yeah, and the great misdirect there from Glossman as she's all over that volley into the body of Brasha.
And Deckel says, let's go, Viv. And I was, oh, it's a different Viv. Yeah, and that was the tail of the tape twice there. We had Glossman getting it over to the forehand side on the previous point, that time right at the backhand of Maggie Brasha, who was waiting.
Yeah, and this time Barr goes for an extreme angle on that Ernie there.
Well, that's what it takes, Brandon. But yes, just so athletic, Deckel, and just great leaping ability to jump the corner of the kitchen. One of the best in the game at it.
Glossman off on that attempt. The Sliders take a 2-point lead early in this matchup.
Yeah, so, I mean, it kind of sums up her game right there. Just a couple nice dinks and then put one in the tape and then just unleashes on the put-away power on the very next point.
Huge drive from Barr as Glossman tries to clean it up, not able to come up with that poach attempt.
Yeah, you got to commit to it. I think she just held her ground a little too much. Got to move forward in those situations. Oh, really nice job by Deckel Barr. I remember playing with him 3 or 4 years ago. He just would have rammed that right into the net. But now he is able to go with the Ernie drop shot and reset when it's not there. Really nice control from Deckel Barr.
Oh, and the huge drive again by Barr, but just long as Brasha lets out a little chuckle there.
Well, she's got to get the head out of the way, the visor, and the ponytail. That's a lot of things for that Deckel Barr drive not to hit. Wow, I believe that return just skidded off the line.
Brasha not able to reset there from the midcourt. Barr, Glossman pulling closer in this matchup.
Big man over the barrier, and still a recurring theme throughout these 2.5 matches that we have played is, for the most part, pretty inconsistent thirds, and some of them very much floating, allowing opponents to take those out of the air and seize control of the point.
Oh, and the Ernie attempt from Barr covered by Glossman.
Ernie was awesome. Wow. I think the cover was even better, Brandon. Great job by Vivian Glossman getting over to protect her partner who went for that Ernie attempt.
Oh, it's a great spot and pressure by Brasha, not allowing Barr to get set as he made his way to the kitchen line.
Exactly. You said it, Brandon. He was still moving when he went for that forehand counter, and great spot from her. I'm pretty impressed with Maggie Brasha so far in this, half of a mixed and her gender doubles match. She's playing very clean, making pretty good decisions, and almost no loose errors from her, which is great.
Yeah, we've seen some consistency from the Slider side as they're up 2 heading over to the changeover, getting some great advice from one of the best minds in pickleball in Colin Johns. On the other side for the Arizona Drive with Barr and Glossman. Deckel Barr, notorious for being a player in mix who covers 90 to 99% of the court. Adam, quickly, how do they utilize Glossman's strength and abilities as she's seemingly trying to slide a little bit left, cover more ground herself?
Yes, and I think that she just take your sliver. She has a great wingspan, so she doesn't have to take 10, just 30, though. When you get spread out and you add to your responsibility list of covering this and covering that, it can kind of get in your head and create some issues. So having that studly partner next to her, just focus on her little sliver of the court, and that gives you that mental freedom to hit the shots that you need to hit.
Well said. Great defense from Brasha from the baseline helps her team make it all the way up and finish this point off. Yeah, and Adam, exactly what you said. You actually see, we didn't see this in the first matchup, but you see Glassman sliding almost outside of the court now.
Right, so instead of kind of getting in that athletic base and posting up, she is able to get out of the way if she needs to, and I think that that is important. And, you know, that's just part of it. I mean, I still am absolutely with everything I said. You're not going to make them all. It's all good. Let's just keep sticking with this kind of court positioning situation we're in.
And 2 straight missed dinks from Glassman. Barr trying to weigh the opportunity to possibly move over further here.
A nice drive from JW, and I mean that's what I mentioned before, is that she is self-admittedly said that she is very comfortable on the left, hitting her shots in women's, getting in those hands battles, and she's a little unsure of exactly what to do or what her role is in mixed doubles. And you know, unfortunately for Drive, that's kind of what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it has to be understandable, Adam, when in a sport like pickleball, especially on the pro side, mixed doubles has to be one of the toughest, most complex strategies to understand from both sides, from a male position and a female position.
Right, and I would even say more so for the female. So the guy can kind of go a little crazy, be that force, try to create some chaos and bring his offense to the table, but the lady has a pretty specific role in mixed doubles, and you know, if that doesn't line up perfectly with your skill set, it's tough to figure out that balance of going for my shots or just being that rock for my left side player.
Arizona Drive having a long talk over there with their bench. They're down 5. Is there any possibility that they switch sides in this matchup?
I would say no, but I'm not sure I would completely hate it. I mean, Deckel's got a big wingspan. He can be offensive with the backhand, so we'll see.
Great play from Glassman. As you can see, she kind of contemplated how far to slide after the Ernie attempt, but comes away with that. And Brasha opened the door right behind Deckel Barr as that ball floats in.
She's very good at that misdirection. I had the privilege of playing an MLP event with her, and yeah, she caught the guy several times on that backside, and I loved every minute of it.
Missed return here from Glassman. It's now a 6-point lead. We've got J.W. Johnson smiling on this side. It was an incredible get from Glassman, but Brasha had one more trick up her sleeve. Another ball.
When J.W. Johnson is smiling, it is bad for opponents. Very, very bad for opponents, and that is the situation we are in right now.
And that ball stays in as well as Glassman floats it up. And right now the sliders are rolling.
Yeah, and Brasha, the last 2 that she's tried that have gone up the line on Deckel Barr. This time she goes middle, mixing up her spots beautifully.
And Brasha is on fire right now. Wow.
JW, get out of her way right now. Come on.
Brasha taps him, says, I got you. I'll take care of this. Oh, it's a great lead from Johnson as Glassman is coming all the way in, trying to roll that drive.
Yeah, short and low. Very hard to drive a short and low return. You know, a little come on there from Dekel Bar. You know, not out of this thing, especially in this format, creeping back into it.
Huge serve from Bar, and that one sails a little long.
Too huge. Yeah, so we've seen him kind of pull back with a couple change-ups, but definitely sprinkled in some serve errors in the later stages of men's and now mixed.
Yeah, it seems as if Bar now is really letting everything go, right? Let's just see how much offense I can create, see if we can get back in this thing.
Yeah, we see those ebbs and flows of matches all the time. You got nothing to lose, 20-12, 20-14 now.
Great spot from Johnson and nice pace.
I would have liked to see him just let Maggie take that. No, I'm just joking, guys. Just joking, guys. Well done, JW.
And Maggie Brasha, is there anything she can't do? Resets, blocks. She manipulated the kitchen line as the Columbus Sliders win this matchup.
Hey, if it's too good, it's too good. Well done, Maggie. You deserve that win. And Arizona Drive, they need this second mixed doubles match to force a dream breaker. Otherwise, it's going to be a 3-1 victory for the Sliders.
Well, we talked about a few things you don't want to see in this matchup. You don't want to see the jugular vein of Julian Arnold screaming Andiamo. You do not want to see J.W. Johnson smiling. And I also think you don't want to see Maggie Brasha right now. Let's just add her in.
You just don't want to see Maggie Brasha at all. It's nothing specific. You just don't even want to see her. So well, we all know that Colin John's elite right side player, you know, arguably, maybe not arguably, the best right side player in the world in men's. Can he make this transition over to the left side? He has a very powerful, strong female partner in Megan Dazan, but can Colin impose his will from the left to seal the deal?
And pressure right now is on the Arizona Drive. They're down 2-1. They need this matchup or this game here to stay alive. But they've got a pretty good team out there in Julian Arnold, who is great on the left side. That is his preferred side. And then we talk about right side players, one of the top right side females in the game, and Vivian David.
True, true. And these two were teammates in 2022 for the Los Angeles Mad Drops. So they are comfortable with each other, and it really sets up nicely with that big, aggressive forehand of Julian Arnold in the middle, and then, of course, Vivian David stepping to her right and sliding over and just destroying two-handed backhand. So the pieces fit. There's no question about it. Can they play a good game here to extend this match?
Also in this matchup with Megan Dazan, lots of power coming off of that black ace paddle. How is she going to be able to manage maybe the offense versus the reset, the calculated spots? Is that something we look for in this matchup as well?
Oh, definitely. I mean, Julian's coming after her. Of course he's going to. I mean, that's his role. That's his job. So I think that blend that you talked about, you have to block and reset to get out of those firefights with Julian sometimes. But if that's all you do, then he has too much freedom to do what he wants to do. So it's always the mix. I know a lot of people hate that word balance, but it's just so important. You have to block occasionally and slow it down, and you have to strike some fear as well with some big, heavy counterattacks. And I think Megan Dazan can absolutely do both.
And from a broader view, Adam, you're great at really just talking about the strength of both mixed doubles teams when it comes to both of these guys out here. We've got, do you feel like we've got a 1A team in Arizona Drive, a 1B team, and what about the Columbus Sliders as well?
Yeah, I would say for the drive, I think it's for me, it's pretty push. I would probably give a slight edge to Arnold and Vivian David, because Vivian David has so much more experience than Vivian Glausman in that mixed doubles format. So I would say 1A, 1B for the drive, and I would put this as their 1A team. So that's a great situation to be in. So yeah, absolutely, they can win this match and extend it, and I would give them a slight edge in this matchup that we're about to see.
If we know anything from history of these MLP games and matchups, it's you don't know anything because anything can happen. We saw 2 games that needed extra time here. The women's matchup and the men's matchup. Mixed, a little lopsided, but Arizona Drive are going to need to come up with something special here to keep this matchup alive.
Yeah, and it's always nice to, I mean, you draft Colin Johns for his incredible pickleball ability, and you get a GM and coach as well. So he's great mind for the game, very strategic player, and you know, just another extra little tidbit to his skill set. And I think that's just a calming presence for his teammates when you have someone that kind of knows what they want to do and knows what they want you to do as well.
The over-under on Andiamos in this game, I'm going to set it at 3.
I'm taking a heavy over.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
taking a heavy over. I think he's really going to bring the energy right here, and he absolutely has to.
Beautiful resets from David, but too much pressure there from Dizon.
Yeah, nice control of the kitchen line. I mean, Vivian was in big trouble. I mean, she made 5 or 6, which was incredible just to put that many balls back in play.
Off on the forehand dink there. The miss there from Johns as the Drive take a 1-point lead here. That was a great initial reset there from Arnold. David shocked that she couldn't come up with the next one.
What is that reaction from Julian? He's always got some very entertaining. I don't win, lose, draw, whatever. He is entertaining to watch. You can't take that away from him.
Good for pickleball. Oh, the drive from Arnold just sails long.
One.
And the counter is at 1 so far. Just great pressure.
Yeah, both teams. It's a combination of both. Just great pressure from the kitchen line from so many players throughout this match.
And that'll be the part he has to manage, right?
Yeah.
Kind of when and where.
And he almost like whooped like he should have made that, and that was the right decision. And I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that, Brandon.
John's not able to help them make it to the net. Looks down at the surface.
Yeah.
A lot of ground to cover there for Arnold.
Yeah, and he's got, I mean, very elite foot speed, but just a little bit out of his reach after a great cross-court dink from Colin. And I would say I'm a little more okay with that one than the one off the bounce earlier. I know he was a little overextended there, but I like him being that presence out of the air in the middle.
Yeah, just a nice ball through the middle. It looked like he thought about yelling out an Andiamo there.
And it's, yeah, I think that's also too much, because Vivian is so good with that backhand. She can drop or drive and get Julian's aggressive, incredible offensive play up to the kitchen to impose his will.
Yeah, there's got to be that point about getting your partner comfortable and settled into the match. And is that maybe a point for Arnold and David to kind of get David in this match as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's been a couple of times where she was very ready to hit the ball, and she did not hit it.
That's good pressure from David, as Johns wanted that ball to be as short as possible to avoid the Ernie.
Yeah, she has, I mean, she has all the tricks over there. She knows exactly what she is doing on the right side.
What a shot from David. You talk about having all the tricks from the right side. She got low and tags Colin Johns.
That's right, and he was loaded up on the right-hand side with the Scorpion, and she puts it on the back side of him. Well done, Vivian David.
Oh, and Arnold caught Johns leaning to his left as he fired a ball down the middle.
And let's be clear, I've played a lot of both sides, very different patterns and very different counterattacking from the right and the left. Ball is coming at you from a very different angle. So I have very much, I had a stretch where I was playing a lot of right. I switched over for a couple tournaments to the left, and I was getting lit up. So for Colin Johns, he has got to figure out a way to handle those speed ups from the left side, because they are definitely coming at him, not as he's used to on the right.
Talking it over with their bench now, as the AZ Drive have a 4-point lead heading to this changeover. Looks like Johns and DeZan are right back out there on the court ready for more action.
Yeah, and you know what, right now, I'm not exactly sure what they should do in terms of who's going to create for them. I think it's clear cut who's going to create for the drive, but who is going to create for the sliders, because both have the ability to do so. And maybe Megan DeZan steps up her offensive game. She's mainly been looking to dink so far to kind of get a speed it up, clean it up situation, as opposed to setting up her partner with soft shots.
Be interested to see if Johns and DeZan go vertical here, maybe to get them off of the kitchen line.
Oh, look what we have here, Brandon. Look what we have here.
Yeah, and you talk about strategy change on the other side. We've got Johns and DeZan have flip sides. Johns back on the right.
I like it, and I think that point was very well played by them, even though they did not win it. It just creates completely different patterns. Now we have the same gender lined up with each other. There's a whole different variety of situations to get in with this lineup, or this, how they're set up.
Yeah, it's a great ball from Arnold, as we saw that in men's doubles from him as well. That one-hand flick cross-court into the body.
Yeah, it's a special skill set to be able to attack cross-court, and Julian Andiamo-Arnold can pull it off.
Yeah, and you talk about being comfortable on the right side and having different patterns. You see it there with Johns deciding to speed it up.
Oh, yeah, and it was a nice combo. Speeded up forehand, backhand there. He is very used to that pattern.
The emphatic no
Yes.
from Colin Johns.
Yeah, and there's some real momentum now for the sliders. This is a great switch from them on the end change.
And it seems like it has rattled the AZ drive just enough to help get the sliders back in this game. Only down 2.
Nice.
The pressure there from Arnold as he almost tackles Vivian David after that point.
And like early in that point, there was like a head-high block from Colin. He came over to the middle. I thought he was going to crush it.
Dazan not able to come up with that reset there.
Yeah, the one-hander from Julian really paying off. He's very seamless between the two. He can go 2 hands or 1 hand, very comfortable with both.
It looked like that ball hit the tape and threw off Arnold's timing just a second.
Yep, tape to the tape.
Couple big drives from Dazan, handled well from David. Something that she seems to like when the pace comes at her.
Oh, yes.
Big ball there from Dazan as she thwarts off the attack from Arnold, then puts it away.
Yeah, nice job for her hitting all 4 hands there, knowing that Colin's lurking in the middle. So nice job sliding to her left and crushing a couple 4-hands.
And that third too high, John's not able to reset. Arnold took a chance, cross court, had to keep it low, and this one didn't go over.
Yeah, can't blame him though. It's been a nice pattern for him.
And right now, DAZN just cannot dial in that third shot. Only down 4 here, though. DAZN goes for the Ernie attempt. Timeout called here from Johns.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't, you know, she didn't make it. I don't hate it, though. I mean, she's looking for offense, and I think that we had a, you know, from the drive, a kind of, oh, they switched coming out of the end change, and then they've kind of settled in now and kind of realized, oh, no big deal. We can just work the point a little bit differently. And after a nice run coming out of that end change from the sliders, Arizona drive taking back a commanding lead.
Yeah, it looks like the drive are handling really everything that's coming their way at this moment, but they've got to stay locked in, have to close out this game if they want to have a chance in this matchup to make it to a dream breaker.
Yeah, and man, I know we talked about it before the matches started, and we still have a good bit of match left here in the second mix, but it would be a very entertaining dream breaker if we do make it there.
And just great defense to offense from Vivi and David as she resets one and then tags the next. Yeah, and John's overextended, trying to do all he can on that last possession there, but just too much as Arnold puts the ball beside him.
Yeah, it's just tough to really be a force from the right side. And in the right lineup and the right situation, it can work, but it's pretty specific, and it's just tough for Colin Johns to really get involved over there from the right. I do think the switch was a good decision, as that first half of the match was a little dicey for them, just not quite enough. And we're going to the Toyota Prius Dreambreaker, Brandon. The fans want it, we wanted it, and here we are.
How awesome is this to start off the day with a Dreambreaker here? We've got some interesting characters here for this one. On one side for the Columbus Sliders, you've got at one point the #1 singles player, 1 or 2 singles player in the world in J.W. Johnson. And then on the other side, you've got a top 5 singles player in Julian Arnold. And these are just the guys that play currently on the tour, right? There's some others that are pretty good in singles that we don't see week in and week out.
Right. I don't know who to pick here. I keep looking at the names. I'm thinking about all my recall of seeing them play singles, and I think that this is a very, very even matchup on paper, and I'm excited for it. So Viv David also not playing a lot of singles recently, but she used to be very good. So yeah, you said only a couple full-timers out here in the singles game, but a lot of very, very talented players, especially 4 points at a time.
Maybe the most exciting one to see has to be Colin Johns. We see him time in and time out on the double side, on the medal stand. And I think a lot of people wonder about his singles ability because they've heard stories. There's the stories out there that he was one of the best singles players in the game. Interested to see maybe 2 forehands from him?
Yeah, he played 2 forehands in tennis, and got to a fairly high ranking in the tennis world. So he knows what to do out there. And when he was playing a lot of singles, it was quite a bit of cat and mouse, dinking and dunking. He played a lot of drops, and he played a different style of singles. So some players just almost all ground strokes. It was a pretty nice blend from Colin Johns between ripping through the ground strokes and dropping the ball into the kitchen as well.
He has a pretty good practice partner at home as well in Ben Johns to help keep his game sharp. Vivian Glossman, someone we haven't seen on the singles side. It will be interesting to see how she maintains the pressure here of the Dreambreaker. We saw a few loose errors in the doubles matchup, some in the mixed doubles as well. Singles, it's just you out there.
Colin Johns is hitting lefty forehands. He's got 2 forehands out there. He's rocking it. I love to see it.
What a sight.
And man, and always want to mention huge similarities in the singles game. And of course there's some similarities between tennis and pickleball and doubles, but it's very, very similar for singles. And some of these athletes' tennis background is very high caliber, so there's going to be some clean points, some incredible shot making out there, and it's just good stuff.
We are just seconds away. These players are getting warmed up for the deciding game in this matchup. It's a Dreambreaker brought to you by Toyota Prius. Happy to be out here this weekend. This is Major League Pickleball brought to you by Margaritaville. There's nothing else like it. Adam, you've been on both sides. You've played in Major League Pickleball. You coached Major League Pickleball, commentated Major League Pickleball. What makes this so special?
It's just, you see the slogan right there. It is nothing else. It's a unique format. It's a special team environment. You not only have you know, a regular tournament, you just have your doubles partner. You got 3 teammates here. You got team owners. You got people invested in you. So it's a different level of pressure, but it's also a different level of glory, in my opinion. So I like seeing these players in these moments. You see a few more deep breaths. You see a few more players getting tight or stepping up. So it's just very exciting, and just can't wait for this to unfold before our eyes.
Definitely like a big party out here. You might walk by and see an NBA player. You might see a celebrity. You may see pro players, friends. They're all here enjoying and taking this in this incredible atmosphere. But let's get going with the final game in this matchup, Dreambreaker. We're starting with J.W. Johnson against Julian Arnold. Arnold takes the first one as he looks to his bench and basically says, I can't hear you.
Yeah, big two-hander all the way across court. Has as much court to work with as possible, helping his margin for error, and he puts it right in the corner.
What a ball from Arnold, as he says he's got fire on his hands right now.
Man, that's the best backhand drop of the day from J.W. Johnson. Julian Arnold says, I do not care.
And Johnson using all the length of the court, hitting lines back there.
Yeah, you just once he gets control at the kitchen line and you're back, it's so hard to get out of that pattern.
And Barr goes for the Ernie on the second ball.
And why wouldn't he, Brandon? Ernieing in singles, Dekel Barr, let's go. Oh, yeah.
Big serve. He gets the first 2 here on Colin Johns.
And if you don't think these friends have a little extra here, you're crazy.
Good spot there from John Barr. Thought he had it.
Decent look. He had a decent look. It was a nice spot from Colin. But I tell you what, we would have had an eruption from Dekel if he had that last ball.
Oh, just too much ground to cover as Barr hit a forehand off the return.
Yeah.
And then Johns goes down the line.
Right, I feel his pain there. I like my forehand return, and when I'm returning in singles from the left, it does make it very difficult to get in.
Brasha with the winner against Vivian David, gives the Sliders a 1-point lead. And almost an incredible shot from Brasha, but clips the tape and goes wide.
Yeah, so we have Vivian with 1 return and stay back, 1 return and come in.
Brasha tries to make her way in, but a great passing shot from David just dipped after the net. Maybe a forehand that David wants back. She slid into that well, but not able to get that one over. Good pressure.
This is the matchup I want to see. Who's going to step up between these two?
That's Vivian Glossman here against DeZon, as Glossman's off on that ground stroke. Oh, and a great ball there. I think DeZon expected it to travel a little further.
Yeah, not off on that ground stroke attempt from Glossman. You don't see too many clean winners back of the court to back of the court.
Oh, and DeZon with the issue of trying to get in after that forehand return. Just a clean ball by Glossman.
It's a massive two-handed backhand from Vivian.
Oh, the lob from Glasman ends up working out.
Yeah, I think Dizon started her jump just a hair early, didn't time it correctly, and put it right into the net, unfortunately.
And the drive will send Julian Arnold back out there with a 2-point cushion against J.W. Johnson. Johnson tries to carve that ball, not able to. Too much pace there from Arnold. And just some elite play from Arnold going into that, but not able to finish it off.
Oh, JW, he was so done for. How did he get that one forehand back? Well done. Nice reach, JW.
Oh, and Johnson with the ATP. It looked like he faked on multiple sides to go to and then lets that ball just travel and hits into the court.
Yeah, that's a layup right there. Tough break for Julian, but smooth as silk for J.W. Johnson.
And you can hear the moans from the team there as he misses that serve into the net.
Yeah, that's what you love as a player, when you miss one right in the net and 150 people groan.
2-point lead here for the drive, as we did a very fast change over here, and we're back in action. Dekel Bar against Colin Johns. Bar off on that drive attempt. They split 2-2 in the previous matchup. What a lob from Colin Johns. We talk about him being one of the smartest pickleball players out there. Surprised Bar.
You don't lob in singles, and you certainly don't lob a 6'3" guy with as incredible leaping ability, but Colin Johns does, and he does it to perfection.
And Johns again. Now he's getting his fans riled up here, as he takes 3 straight so far. Goes for the forehand drive.
Yeah, really nice return from Dekel Bar, forcing Colin onto his back foot.
Oh, and Vivian David with a beautiful 2-hand cross court.
Yeah, way to whip through from Vivian. I think she guided 1 or 2 backhands in this first matchup. She did not guide that one at all.
What a play from Brasha, as she was left for dead in the middle of that point and ends up coming up with a spectacular save.
She didn't hit one of those in her strike zone. Every one is on the full stretch. Incredible shots from Maggie.
That ball just wide. Brasha stepping in with confidence with a 1-point lead here. And a 2-hand cross-court winner. We talked about some things you don't want to see, and Brasha is proving you right here.
Yes, absolutely correct. And can Vivian Glasman bring a few more of those big 2-handed backhands that we saw in the first matchup? She's going to need a couple.
Dazan had what she was looking for there, but the pressure of Glasman's court coverage had her push that a little too far. What a get on the run. Was that with one hand?
Yes, that was disgusting on that pickup. She is in big trouble, and it's not that she just got it back. She hit one of the best shots of the day from that position.
Oh, and that ball is long there from Dazan.
Yeah, it's tough. She's had some nice, she's really had some nice set up spots in these 3 points that she's played with Glosman and put herself in a pretty good position and just hasn't been able to get a point. It's a really tough break.
Yeah, Glosman stepped out there. They were down 2. Now, after 3 points, they're up 1 here. So heading to the timeout with some confidence, but the Sliders are looking to get back in this and hopefully close out. This is neck and neck. It's what you want to see in a dream break.
Absolutely, and this is not strategy time. This is execution time. Sure, maybe a little tweak here and there, but this is just who wants it, who's going to take it. Let's go.
And Dazan is off again on that 2-hand backhand volley. And that will send out, for the second time, Julian Arnold up 2 points against J.W. Johnson. Oh, what a shot down the line from Arnold.
Yeah, man, that forehand is lethal from Julian Arnold, and he can go to all the spots. It's okay.
Great ball there from Johnson as he has that one-hand counter down the line. Oh, Johnson was looking to come in after that. Arnold carved it just low enough. And a missed return sets up the AZ drive with a chance to close out this match. And Dekel Barr, you see the court coverage from him. That's a big guy running around there.
Yeah, Collins got him on the string, running the big man all over the court and just kind of standing there.
Oh, and that one just wide. Looked like an awesome attempt there from Johns.
Yeah, it had a good spot, good angle, good spin. Just couldn't keep it in.
Yeah, and Johns stops another attempt from Barr.
And he might have been in trouble if he went cross court with that first volley. And incredible spot there to go behind the big man, Dekel Barr. Nice job, Colin.
Again, off on that forehand attempt, but sends out Maggie Brasha against Vivian David. Vivian with the chance to close this out.
I mean, who else do you want in this spot, though, if you're the Sliders? Maggie Brasha, she's played a great match. Let's see if she can pull out one more miracle and get her team back into this.
Oh, and David ends it with a forehand drive down the line. Just a beautiful shot and a well-played matchup here. But the AZ drive take a 3-2 win in this matchup.
Yeah, really good stuff. High-level dream breaker. I was expecting it to be tight, and it was. And Vivian David, awesome last forehand. Great match, Brandon. Great way to start the day.
Yeah, awesome. And this entire matchup decided by 3 points. So AZ Drive will start off with a 1-0 lead here heading into play. We will be back with another matchup. We have the Chicago Slice against, I guess we'll find out. We'll find out soon.